Travis? All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners meeting for April 30th, 2024. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first thing on our agenda are our minutes. Gentlemen, do we have any additions or corrections?
No. Good.
I move to approve the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners for Montezuma County for Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County, April 23rd, 2024. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, planning, come on down.
Do you want me to read the
I will. Okay, this being the time set aside for a public hearing continuation from last week, Kim, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here?
Commissioner Lindsay.
Here.
Commissioner Copenhaver.
Here.
Administrator Anderson.
Here.
Attorney McLaren.
Here.
Kim Purcell, Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination regarding a proposed high-impact permit application submitted by Leaf Properties, Inc. on property located at 27078 Road North in, I did it again, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 3.78 acres more or less, located south of Road N, east of Highway 145, situated in Section 7, Township 36 North, Range 15 West, here in N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, April 30th, 2024 at 9 a.m. in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office online services at https://co-montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com, public home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated this 8th day of April, 2024, Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado, published in the Journal on Wednesday, April 10th, 2024.
All right, thank you, Kim. Okay, Don, do you have anything else that you want to add, or can I just bring it back to the commissioners at this point?
You can just bring it back to your discussion unless you got questions.
Okay. I don't necessarily have any questions of anything else that we had, that were presented last week. So basically we have had now the time to review all of the information that was given to us in the packets at the last hearing. So I think just to highlight this again, you know, what Ian has told us in our last thing is one is a compliance, is it in conformity? Does it meet any significant adverse impacts? Are there any health, safety, and welfare concerns? And are services available such as water, sewer, and such? So with that, gentlemen, who would like to go first?
I don't care. I can go first. If you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have to look at this thing as a zoning being commercial, but not anything commercial can fit on a lot like this. I mean, when I see a big change in what you're going to put on this commercial lot, as far as these significant adverse impacts, when you increase the traffic by that much, to me, that's a significant impact, to increase that traffic by that much. It's also going to affect the property values around that property. I think all of these things are significant adverse impacts, and for us to be looking out for the rural character of Montezuma County, to me, this does not fit in a rural character. This building does not fit. That's just my personal way that I read the code and interpret it. Not just anything can be put on any commercial lot. That's why we have the high impact permit system. That's why we have these different categories as far as the adverse impacts. And in order for us to interpret the code and judge on what's there, we have to look at all these different things. I think the one thing that was not brought up in the hearing the other day, personally, the ag traffic on this road, you have a large ag enterprise across the road. He also owns land further east down that same road. That equipment has to go back and forth. When you make that corner and there's a 18-foot swather sitting in the middle of that road, it impacts people. I know, with my own farming operation, in order for me to move equipment up and down the highway down south to Cortez, it impacts you. And the traffic is getting worse and worse. It's harder and harder for us to move agriculture equipment up and down these roads and stuff. I think all of those things are very significant things that need to be addressed, and I don't feel like this is addressing them by putting this out there in this locality.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Lindsay.
Last week, we had a lot of concerns. I listened to you and made a list of traffic, decreased property values, rural character, adverse impact, increased crime, wetlands, impacts, lighting, economic viability, noise, adjudicated water, heritage property, wetlands, underreported accidents, and concerns about the house and septic systems on those lots. And going through a lot of this, I looked at the engineer's conclusion finally, and it said, his first sentence was, this is a rural area where commercial buildings are rare. As development continues, creative solutions to water supply challenges are needed. And just looking at our fairgrounds out there, we don't have the needed supply even at our fairgrounds to provide fire suppression out there. Burying a tank is a solution to some of that, but who's going to maintain that tank? Being on the fire service for a lot of years, I wouldn't want algae and contaminated water flowing through my engines, because if it's not maintained, that water is going to become contaminated. The big thing that stood out to me was the 678 trips a day that's anticipated to go in and out of that intersection out there. But all in all, to make this short, all of these concerns, along with the adjudicated water out there, which hasn't been hardly addressed at all, create a cumulative effect. And I stand with Gerald. You can't devastate a rural character out there.
Done? Okay.
Done.
All right, thank you. And I'm going to give you a totally different perspective. I can tell you that with the fire suppression system, burying tanks is a solution to a problem, and it is stated in that same study. The fire chief did support it. He did say that he would be able to utilize that, or the applicant stated that you could utilize that for other suppression around the area. So I think that address was made. The traffic study definitely addresses all of the 145 concern, and then the application from our Road and Bridge Department on County Road N is also significant, saying that it meets all of the requirement of the code. So when I look at it, I look at it, does it comply, which is basically the conformity of the code or not. It's on a commercial zone. It's on a commercial lot. It is a commercial building. Whether we don't put any opinion into whether we like it or whether we don't like it, I think that capitalism and free enterprise will take care of that on its own. So I read through the permit, and it meets all the requirements of the land use code. Adjudicated water can definitely be taken care of as it flows through the property. I don't see that as an issue. And there's also a use by right that people have on this. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to leave it there, and we'll go from there. So just a different take and a different opinion. So with that, gentlemen,
And I guess before we go to the motion, I guess I would just like some clarity. There was some talk about some of the reasons you guys, it sounds like, oppose this, but I think something that needs to be clarified for the record is, are you opposing it because of what it is, the company? I mean, there was some talk about, hey, a dollar store is special, or are you talking about a high retail or a high volume retail store? Because legally, we can't stop something because it's a dollar store per se.
Right.
And so I think it's important to clarify for the record where you guys are at with that.
I would think that it doesn't have anything to do with the name on the store. It's the impacts that this creates.
Okay.
I agree, 100%. It's just the impacts, and that's what I was getting at with the road and the tag and everything else. That's rural ag character part of this thing. You're taking that away.
And then I guess one more clarification. Commissioner, you touched on the decreased property values. Could you just expand on that and what you're talking about there? I mean, I think you touched on some things, but.
What I have to look at, would I like to live right next to this, and what would I think it would do to the property value of my place? I think it would change the value. I definitely think it would change the value. And so those people that are right next to this, are we looking out for them also? I mean, I know this man owns this property and he has a right to develop this property, but I think the development should be more in line with what's in that area, not extending the size of this project to that. And I don't care what kind of store it is. It doesn't matter to me what kind of store it is. It's just the fact that these other impacts that we mentioned are significant. And I don't think you can just ignore that.
Thanks.
So, with that, do you have anything else to add? Do you have anything, Don, that you have to add? I think all the addresses that were addressed to us, specifically in the packets that we were given last week, have been reviewed and talked about and actually discussed right now. So, unless commissioners, you have anything else, I don't see any reason to drag this out any further.
Go ahead.
I move to decline the high-impact permit application submitted by Leaf Properties Incorporated on property located at 27078 Road N, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 3.78 acres.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to decline the proposed high-impact permit application submitted by Leaf Properties Incorporated on property located at 27078 Road N, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 3.7 acres, more or less.
And I think this is just a wording thing, but our land use code talks about approval or denial, and so decline, deny. Let's just.
Denied.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'll submit that as denied, Commissioner. Is that okay?
Yes.
Denied. So, just that clarification, it has been moved and seconded to deny the proposed high-impact permit application submitted by Leaf Properties. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Aye. Motion carries. It has been denied. Thank you. And Kim, I will close this public hearing at this point in time. Okay. Dawn, next on our agenda, we have two other items. It looks like they're both, one is a,
A high impact permit.
Signature?
Needs signed, and then we have a Mylar for the Jones 2-lot minor.
okay,
That needs to be signed.
perfect. Roll them out.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll even take that long. It might be ready to roll right now.
I'm just saying, because, it's all good. I said what I had to say.
I think everybody made the record.
Yeah. Now it's, the board's made a decision, now we're rocking and rolling, baby. It is what it is.
I give this thing more time than I did about anything else.
I spent all weekend on
I went out there and drove around it 2 or 3 times.
it. I didn't have to do that, I see it every day.
I imagine. That's your opinion. I mean, shit.
Ordinary.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, sir?
Not anything pressing at the moment.
Okay.
A lot of things going on, but nothing that, to discuss with you this morning.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will now go into our regular public comment session. The Board of County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. Person speaking during public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all the members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments, and comments to individual supervisors or staff are not permitted, and participants may not yield their time to others. And with that, the public comment session is open. All right, seeing no public comment, we're going to move right along. And first off, we have today a presentation from the Cortez, Dolores, and Mancus Clerk's offices. Ladies?
Good morning, Honorable County Commissioners and staff. My name is Linda Smith. I'm the City Clerk for the City of Cortez. This is Donna Murphy. She's the Deputy City Clerk for the City of Cortez. We're missing our Town of Dolores and Town of Mancus. Things come up this morning, but I do have a statement to read from them as well.
Okay.
I come before you today to thank the wonderful work that was completed by your County Clerk and Recorder's Office, specifically Danielle Wells, Diana Smith, and Kim Purcell. The municipal election held every 2 years is without a doubt one of the jobs that the local communities could not do without the help of the county clerk's office. All our citizens benefit from their expertise and professionalism. I know that the municipal election will always run smoothly thanks to the guidance of these wonderful women. They are the best of the best, the beauty and the brains behind the elections, and we are grateful for their hard work in completing our municipal election, which was held on April 2nd, 2024. The camaraderie that has been created over the years with the municipal clerks, county clerk's office only shows how everyone can work together for the benefit of our communities. We wish to celebrate Danielle, Diana, and Kim. They're the best. From the Town of Dolores, Tammy Neely wrote, "The Town of Dolores would like to acknowledge and thank County Clerk Kim Purcell and her staff for their hard work and dedication to our municipalities. Elections are difficult for small towns with the expense and time it takes to set up. Kim and her team have made the task easy and has taken the burden off of towns with limited funding and resources." The Town of Mancus also seconded that. We just wanted to tell you thank you. You guys are so lucky to work with these women. We're lucky to have them as our friends.
To have an
Thank you.
election staff like yours in our community, we sure appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And Kim, kudos to you and your staff. And I'll just echo what Commissioner Lindsay said, you know, they do a lot of work over there, and a lot of work that's never seen by most of the constituency, but they do put in a lot of hours and a lot of work, and it is appreciated up here from this bench, and I think I can speak for all of us. But thank you to you and your office, Kim. Appreciate it. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Beauty in the brains down there. Beauty in the brains, right?
All right, the DWCD will not be here today, so we're going to go by them. I do not see Mr. Margolis in the room, so I'll give him a little bit of time. But I do see our interim VSO, Mr. Torres. Welcome back. And why don't you come on down and let everybody know that you're here for an interim of only 6 years. You know, I saw a big crowd here, and I thought they were all for me.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, members of the public, fellow county employees. First, let me begin by saying thank you. Let me check my eyes. I haven't had an eye exam in a few years. You guys actually look younger. That tells me I need to get my eyes examined.
Yeah, you better.
All right.
Commissioner, speaking of eyes, Commissioner Copenhaver can actually see today, so we're
All
all going
right.
to wear our sunglasses in there because he,
Yes, I am bald.
yeah.
And this is as
Well,
tall
I
as,
just got one eye fixed yesterday, so just the cataract yesterday.
congrats.
He thought
A
you
lot
always
of light in
had,
the room.
he thought you just had gray hair.
Yeah. Well, I always say I used to be 6'5", blonde hair and blue eyes, but when I went to the Gulf War, they gave me a whole bunch of shots, and this is how I ended up. Anyway, I want to thank the commissioners for the opportunity to return. It's going to be almost 3 years that I retired back in 2021. I've spent my time traveling all over the West, mainly the West. Try to stay away from the East Coast. Try to stay away from California. But anyway, with that said, I thank you for the opportunity to come back and serve our citizens, our veterans, their widows, and their kids. It's an honor to be here and serve you guys, ladies and gentlemen, as well. With that said, since I came back on April 1st, I've done nothing to change the hours. We're going to leave everything the way it is as far as the hours that Frank and Sarah had set up. The office is open to the public from 8 a.m. to 3:30. I do get there earlier and I leave later, but when the doors are closed, I'm in there banging out claims, tidying up paperwork, dotting the I's, crossing the T's. If a veteran did need to come in after the office hours that are open, just like my predecessors, I'd make myself available to them. So that's not an issue. Our services have remained uninterrupted. I've told everybody I'm a little bit rusty. I was able to get back my certifications, had to go through about 18 classes and take tests to get certified with the Department of Veteran Affairs, Office of Counsel General. So I'm good to go on that. We're averaging about, well, so far this month, 12 clients per day. That may or may not seem like a lot, but some of those clients, they're pretty intense issues that pop up, and sometimes it takes 2 hours just to work on one issue for a veteran. A lot of that has to do with researching and getting into the weeds of trying to find that gold nugget to be able to get the VA to say that what this veteran is claiming is related to service. So that's why sometimes it can get a little bit, no pun intended, hairy. But we make it happen. So I'm averaging about 12 clients per day. So far this month, 7 outreach events. Some of those outreach events have been with, I attended the American Legion meeting, VFW meeting, the DAV meeting. I've met separately with the commanders of each organization. I attended the job fair. There was a job fair, I think it was last Friday, at the Annex building. I was there for that, and a couple of other events that I attended. So, you know, we do go out of our way to make ourselves visible and available to connect with the public. Speaking of the commanders, I did have a separate meeting with the 3 of them. They did share with me their concerns and what they would like to see for the office moving forward. And we can talk about that either here or offline. But a lot of it, generally speaking, has to do with when we go to hire somebody, that we get somebody that's fully committed to the position, that has their heart in it, that goes above and beyond like I said, looking for those gold nuggets that sometimes are time-consuming. The easy thing is to have a client come in, give them a piece of paper and tell them to come back. That's the easy way to do it. And sometimes I do that too because I don't have all the information. But once they come back, there's some time-intensive work that needs to be put in. So we need somebody dedicated to put in those hours and get the results for our clients. And I'm confident that between the commissioners, myself, the commanders, when we get ready to do the hiring process, we'll ensure that that happens. So we have control of that process, as you know. Speaking of the job application, these will probably be my finishing remarks unless the commissioners have any other questions. So I've received 6 applications so far. I have 1 pending, but actually it was only a resume, so a total of 7, but 6 applications. Of those so far, I only have 4 qualified actual veterans for interview. So I'll get with Travis. Maybe they got some more today that I don't know about. I didn't check in with the office yet. I was doing training this morning for that program, the SCEP. Yes, I did that on, it was sort of like a phone interview session. So there's where we're at. So far we have 4. My advice to the county, to the county manager is, and we'll discuss about either moving forward and interviewing these 4 applicants, or extending the deadline, which ends today for applications. But the end result needs to be that we have somebody that is fully committed and their heart is set on being a servant to our veterans and the widows, period. With that said, one more thing. There is a training session that was already paid for that office, for the National Association of County Veteran Service Officers. It is an online training session. I will probably be attending that. I checked, and it's not for a new hire. I was going to use that slot for the new hire. However, it's a little bit more intense than a basic course. So since we already paid for it, I'll probably attend it. Or I can just ask them to hold those funds, and I won't attend the course, and we'll leave it for the next time for the next employee. But that's something that we can talk about. And the purpose of the course is for continuing, what is it, CUEs? Continuing
Continuing education.
education. Like I said, I've been rusty. With that said, I'll open it up to any questions from the commissioners. I'll do my best to answer them, and if I don't know the answer, I will find it.
First of all, again, thank you for coming back out of retirement to help us. We have 2 or 3 of you people helping us out of retirement here in the county. I appreciate it greatly. And specifically agree with, I don't want to settle. I don't think any of us want to settle for somebody that's not fully qualified and dedicated. I think that's a big challenge that we're facing, specifically with the requirements of the job, because they're pretty specific. So like you said, out of the 7, we only have 4 that are actually qualified. So we may have to extend that time frame until filled, if we can't find anything that's appropriate. So I definitely agree with you.
Well, when I spoke with Travis, I did let him know that although my wife wants me to come back there, I don't know why, but she wants me to come back. I will stay as long as as is necessary to hire someone and effectively train them. We also have the state resources available to train somebody, but I will stick around and help train.
We appreciate all the time you can give us, and you surprised me by just accepting our invitation to come back.
I'm having fun.
All right.
Like I said, that was 6 years.
Yeah.
Commissioner, do you have
It's
any?
kind of like re-enlisting,
Right. Yeah, we saw what that got me last time. No hair. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks.
Thank you, Rick. All right, moving right along. I still don't see Danny. Were they coming in at 10 o'clock, Travis, or do you know?
Well, just based upon what we have on the agenda, they're supposed to be there.
Okay, well.
It's all right.
We'll just keep going. If we see them come in, we'll jump back up to the Mancos Conservancy District. Going on into unfinished business, we have a letter of application to the Aerial Cemetery Board. This would be for a 6-year term, if my notes serve me correctly.
Correct.
And we have one that has applied and actually is a member at this point in time. Gentlemen, do you have anything else to add?
No.
Okay.
I would so move we appoint Jenna Harmon to the Lewis Areola Cemetery Board for a term of 6 years.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Jenna Harmon to the Areola Cemetery Board for an appointment of 6 years. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, there you go. You can let her know that, Travis. Next up, Robert, if you want to come on down, we did have a couple presentations. The first one we'll talk about is our Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment Air Quality Monitoring Funding, or CDPHE.
So this funding, it's a renewal of funding that the county currently has. It is for air monitoring, and it's from, as you said, from CDPHE, Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. It's $36,755. The health department contracts that with Air Resources for $29,655, and then the additional $7,100 of that covers our costs for administering that program. And if you had any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I have none. This is, the only question I have was, we were discussing it yesterday, do we have the 2 or the 3 sides? I thought it was 3, but anyway.
I think it was 3 as well.
Okay. Any questions, gentlemen?
No.
Okay.
I did just want to remind you that any motion, Commissioner Candelaria does have the DocuSign in his email, so a motion would need to be to approve the grant application as well as approve authorized signature.
I would so move we authorize the chairman to sign the DocuSign for the Colorado Department of Public Health Agreement number 2, and the amendment contract is 23*0441 AMD number 2.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept and sign the CDPHE Air Quality Monitoring funding. The amendment is amendment number 2 in the amount of $36,755. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the second one is the Bureau of Justice Assistance Grant for Community Intervention Program, our CIP. Go ahead, Robert.
This is asking permission to apply for 2 different grants. We would only be able to receive one or the other. They're 2 slightly different programs that our community intervention program could fit into either of them. One is the Connect and Protect program from the Bureau of Justice Assistance. The other is the Justice Mental Health Collaboration Program. This funding would be up to $550,000 over 3 years, and the matching funds are 20%, 20%, and 40%, and the existing funds in the CIP account, as well as the Bureau of Health, BHA, Bureau of Health Assistance, I think.
Yeah.
Those would cover at least the first 2 years of that grant, and then we're working with our partners on what the future of that program will look like.
Right. Okay. Question?
No.
So the matching funds,
Should be 0. No matching
easy.
fund.
Well, there actually is matching funds, but we
But
already
it's
have
coming
that.
from the BHA.
Correct.
Right.
okay,
It's not coming from us.
okay. I move to approve this Montezuma County grant application submission form for the Community Intervention Program for 10/1/24 to 9/30/27 in the amount of $550,000, up to $550,000 reimbursement.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the Montezuma County grant application submission form for the Community Intervention Program for reimbursement up to $550,000. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, next, Robert, we have the letter of support for the Colorado Water Smart Planning and Project Design Grant, and this would be actually for the city of Cortez, correct?
It is, yeah. It's, my counterpart at the city of Cortez sent the letter of support over asking for the county to support their planning grant that would help them both develop plans for the future development of water treatment for Cortez as well as source water protection. And you have that in front of you.
Okay, any questions on that, gentlemen?
No.
Okay,
Move we sign a letter of support for the Cortez Water Smart Planning and Project Design Grant.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to sign the letter of support for the Cortez Water Smart Planning and Project Design Grant. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. I think that's all you have today? All right, thank you. All right, next up, we have a letter of support for the Four Corners Rifle and Pistol Club. Do you gentlemen come on down? If you have anything to add, if not, we can go right through it. It's up to you.
Good morning, Commissioners, and good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for endorsing us in our letter of support to continue with the lease for the Colorado State Land Board for the Four Corners outdoor shooting range. And we've had some movement forward in contact with state legislature, our Senator Cleve Simpson. We've received a letter of support from him. We received a letter of support from Lauren Bobert, and we received other letters of support from the other agencies within the county. We have some pending letters of support coming from the Bureau of Land Management and U.S. Forest Service. So we appreciate you in this letter of support as we move forward in negotiations with the Colorado State Land Board on our new lease, which will start September 1st.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You got anything?
No,
No
go
problem.
ahead.
I move to sign this letter of support concerning the Four Corners Rifle Pistol Club outdoor range lease with the Colorado State Land Board.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to sign the letter of support concerning the Four Corners Rifle and Pistol Club outdoor range lease and sent to the Colorado State Land Board. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, Travis, we talked about our postage machines yesterday in our workshop. It was, well, I'll just let you go from there.
So we have two postage machines with a total of $16,438. They're going to be non-serviceable by June. After the power outage that we experienced, one of them is being held together by duct tape, I guess is the best terminology. So we just need approval to purchase. It's going to be cheaper to purchase versus leasing these machines for two machines, one over at admin and one at the annex for $16,438 through Pitney Bowes.
This is an ag community, and I'm a little offended that there's no baling wire in this machine.
We could probably fix that, sir.
I think this is, something that we talked about that was presented to us, I think a few years ago, Commissioner, that all of this digital, everything that we have is only good for about 3 to 5 years. So these are more than
They're 20 years old.
Yeah.
serve their purpose, and it's just kind of one of those things that we have to upgrade. It will be a capital expense item, so that will come out of the capital budget.
Is there counters on those things? Do you know how many?
There's so
pieces
much
of it?
technology on this stuff, I couldn't begin to tell you.
Okay.
That's an IT question.
Yeah, okay.
So, anyway, I have no issues with it. Commissioners, do you have any?
No.
Okay.
I would so move we purchase the postage machines in the amount of, let me find it, $16,438.90.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to purchase 2 postage machines in the amount of $16,438.90. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, there you go. Get your new postage machines. Next up, I'll give this to Ian. We have a discussion
Yeah.
signing our community intervention program. We talked about it last week, and we decided to definitely make sure that they were both on the same page as far as what the fire department was signing, what Access was signing, and with that, I'll turn it over to you, Ian.
Yeah, so we've got 2 contracts here for the CIP program, one with Axis and one with the Cortez Fire Protection District. As we talked about last week, we made a small change to the termination provision in the contract that will allow for parties to terminate for cause, including financial shortcomings, upon 30 days' notice. I have circulated this to the parties. Obviously, Cortez Fire Protection District is on board with this because this is what they asked for to begin with. I got an email from Axis, I believe Thursday of last week, saying that the contract had gone up to corporate legal counsel and was in review with them. My suggestion is that we sign these today, and you never want to assume, but my assumption is that there's not going to be an issue with this, and then we can just move forward once we get approval from Axis.
It actually makes it a little bit more flexible. So, or at least they're,
Yeah, it really shouldn't. I don't see any reason that it would be a significant issue. As we know, sometimes this stuff takes a lot of time to work its way through channels. What I would recommend, again, is that we sign our portion of this, and then what I'll do is I'll hold on to both contracts pending approval from Axis, and then at the point we get approval from Axis, we'll circulate it over to Fire Protection District and Axis for signature.
okay, all right.
I would so move we sign the community intervention program contracts with Access Health and Cortez Fire Protection District.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign the community intervention program contracts with Access and CFPD. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'm gonna hold these here for a minute, guys. There's a lot of signatures.
Okay.
So, all right, next, Ian, also too, we held off on the PSST, the Public Safety Sales Tax resolution, because you had one more thing that you needed to check.
Yeah,
As
so.
far as with the DOR.
Yep, so I was in contact with the Department of Revenue, and we did get some updated numbers, and Travis worked with Mr. Bug to input those numbers into the tax. So at this point, in the ballot question, we have an estimate of what we expect this tax to bring. We expect it to bring $8,123,002 or $8,123,002 in revenue. The ballot question is here. The PSST resolution has been something I think we've gone over and talked about quite a bit. And so if you guys are comfortable with this, then we can go ahead and sign it and get the process started.
Question?
I don't have any.
Okay.
What number are we?
I think we're still number 5.
Five.
Should be 5. Number 5.
Yeah, I guess we can write that in there. I move to approve this resolution pertaining to the submission to the registered qualified electors of Montezuma County of a question authorizing the imposition of a public safety sales tax for the purpose of funding the Montezuma County Sheriff's Office, the Montezuma County Jail, and the Montezuma County Drug Task Force.
Second.
Resolution number 5, 2024.
Okay. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign resolution number 5, 2024, a resolution pertaining to the submission to the registered qualified electors of Montezuma County of a question authorizing the imposition of a public safety sales tax for the purpose of funding the Montezuma County Sheriff's Office, the Montezuma County Jail, and the Montezuma County Drug Task Force. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Ian, you again, as we go down to the Cell 5 construction down at the landfill.
Yep. So last week, you guys did approve the bid that was submitted for construction of Cell 5. I've developed a contract for this, and actually, after the meeting started this morning, I received a signed copy from the construction company, and so we just need to sign this and then authorize Mel to sign the notice to proceed. And this is actually the signed version, so.
Yeah. All righty. I would so move we sign the agreement dated this 30th day of April, 2024, by and between Montezuma County with Kansai Inc. for the Montezuma County landfill Cell 5 construction.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign the agreement between Montezuma County and Kansai Inc. for the Montezuma County landfill Cell 5 construction. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next up,
Commissioner, just a motion
NTP.
authorizing
yeah.
Mel to sign the notice to proceed.
So move we authorize our landfill superintendent, Mel Jarman, to also sign the contracts.
To sign the notice to proceed.
Notice to proceed, sorry.
Second.
It's also been moved and seconded to allow the landfill manager to sign the NTP, the notice to proceed to the contractor, Kansai Inc. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, new business. Jerry, come on down. We have a permit application for the Montezuma County Fair Board.
Hi, my name is Jerry Frizzell. I'm from Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder's Office. I do the liquor license renewals, new liquor license, and special events. Today I have one for Montezuma County Fair Board that will be held at 30100 US 160 on the dates of July 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I have a letter from the fairgrounds giving them permission to use it, and the letter from the sheriff's office saying that they will provide security for this special event.
The only thing on the letter is if you could get it back to the sheriff and actually have him correct the dates. I think they actually should be consistent. What's on there, April 26th to August 3rd is probably not correct, so make sure that's probably July 26th, just to
April.
make sure that it's consistent with the permit.
Yep, it's supposed to be July 26th through August 3rd. Yes. Okay. I will get that fixed. Didn't even notice that. Thank you.
I would so move we approve the liquor license special event permit for the Montezuma County Fair Board to be held at the Montezuma County Fairgrounds, July 26th through August 3rd, 2024.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign the liquor license special event permit for the Montezuma County Fair Board from 7/26 to 8/3/2024. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. I do see Mr. Margolis come in, so with that, Danny, if you want to come on down and give us a quick update of the Mancos Conservation District.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me here today. Hasn't been that long since I spoke with you all, so there isn't a huge update to give. Some of the quick areas, kind of based on our program areas, are so in watershed management. The Mancos Conservation District is pulling together kind of a draft of the stream management plan. It should be completed by the end of this week. We'll be holding public meetings about it in May and likely June as well. Invite everyone to participate in it. And then the Bureau of Reclamation Water Smart Grant that the Conservation District has, we will be beginning NEPA and planning on 3 diversion upgrades, as well as installation of 10 smart meters this year. We'll likely begin the planning for that in early summer, and implementation will likely occur next year once the NEPA is completed. The MCD has been working with Montezuma County staff to kind of begin developing a proposal for wildfire-ready watersheds. So what that would involve is an upgrade of 2 culvert and road features that were called out in a fluvial hazard mapping and modeling effort. The work of that is meant to support and protect infrastructure in the case of larger flood events, particularly like those that occur post-fire. So that'll occur on Road L, right around on the Middle Mancos, right before the confluence of the Middle Mancos and the East Mancos, as well as West Grand with the Chicken Creek crossing there. And so both of those have multiple benefits. The West Grand will support the Paths to Mesa Verde project as well. And the Road L project is an aquatic organism barrier as well, and it'll help kind of ecologically, but also like socially. For our forestry program, we did a lot of planning and stepping up a forestry program last year, and now this year we're going to really jump into implementation, which is excellent. Have right now really 150 acres slated for RFPs to go out in the coming weeks. For projects to occur this summer, and planning for hopefully RFPs and implementation to occur on another 150 acres later this year, kind of going into next spring. That's associated with Colorado Strategic Wildfire Action Program that the Mancos Conservation District has. That program is a partnership with Wildfire Adaptive Partnership, so it does defensible space work, thinning projects on private lands, works with the State Forest Service, U.S. Forest Service, as well as the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe on their Adams Ranch, so the tribal ranch there. Right now we're in the process of putting in another proposal for Colorado Strategic Wildfire Action Program. That would be another $1 million for forestry and wildfire mitigation activities. The area that we're working in right now is really between Jackson Gulch Reservoir and Summit Lake, and the new proposal will be inclusive of that, but expand beyond those boundaries as well. Focusing on defensible space, where Wildfire Adaptive Partnership has their neighborhood ambassador program, as well as forestry work, and probably prescribed fire on private lands, working with a lot of different partners and who have all the insurance to do it, and with private landowners that are really interested. So excited about that, and have been in contact with county, particularly with James Dietrich, about this proposal as well, and he's well aware of it. Our soil health program is moving forward, so the Colorado Soil Health Program, installation of soil monitoring, or soil moisture monitoring, and soil samples are going to be taken in a little bit for all of the producers involved with that, and I'd say we are heavily investing in education and outreach this year, both for younger individuals as well as adult education, working with CSU Extension and the High Desert Conservation District, putting together pasture renovation workshop. Actually, that one just occurred, a weed management workshop, and quite a few other like ag production focused workshops coming forward this summer. Just this week, we're going to be having a water law training with Department of Water Resources and others, and are going to be hosting a large watershed event this summer. And then for forestry, you're going to be holding a wildfire mitigation for landowners kind of practical boot camp in the coming weeks, if anyone's interested. I'd say the other thing just to inform you all of is a letter that the Mancos Conservation District Board submitted in opposition to a supplemental water supply plan. We also suggested alternatives. This is associated with proposed exploratory drilling near the East Mancos River. We've kind of been in communication with different individuals and partners within the valley, heard a lot of concerns from landowners. The Mancos Board of Supervisors, Mancos Conservation District Board of Supervisors really talked about it, concerned with a lot of the unknown short and long-term negative consequences of the water supply plan. So inclusive of municipal use, but also agricultural and in-stream uses as well. Some of the concerns are kind of where the water is being taken from and then where the augmentation is going to occur. There are diversions in between there where those individuals, you know, they won't be benefited from the augmentation occurring. So it's going to be taken higher up, augmented lower down, right around 160, and there are like diversions kind of in between. Concerns about, the in-stream flow rate as well as the potential for kind of, depending on how the augmentation happens and where the water source is, the possible for non-native fish species as well as aquatic nuisance species to be introduced, and then just unknown differences in chemistry composition between the augmented water and the water from the East Mancos. So I'd say, this is a big concern for the district, and we will and are planning to help facilitate and hold a public meeting about the exploratory mining, inviting the company, Metallic Minerals, as well to it, and just like having an open conversation where individuals will be able to share information, express concern, and then just like really start a dialogue. I think those are the main updates I have. I'm wondering if commissioners have any questions.
Actually, I have a question going back to the grant submission that you guys are doing for the defensible space. Question one around that, is that for just the private property owners, or is that within that Jackson to that area, is that just for the private property owners?
So
how does that work?
Yeah, good question. There's a current co-swap, I'm sorry for the acronyms, Colorado Strategic Wildfire Action Program. So within there right now, there's money for forestry projects on private lands as well as defensible space work on private lands. And so Wildfire Adaptive Partnership is working with us to spearhead the defensible space work. And so within that priority area, that project area that we developed, there's like an additional cost share benefit. Wildfire Adaptive Partnership provides cost share throughout the county and has money to do that. Maybe I don't. Some of their boundaries depend on what grants they have. I don't remember offhand all of the grants that they have right now, but that's for private landowners. But I think also town infrastructure, like Town of Dolores infrastructure, Town of Mancos infrastructure could apply for that as well. I don't think it's only just for private landowners for that. Similar with the forestry work, we largely work with private landowners, but are open to working with all landowners. We are working with the tribe on it. We are partnering with the State Forest Service on work, and especially a lot of they're supporting kind of some of the inventory and analysis for some of the projects, and we're also partnering with the Forest Service. But yeah, we're really focusing on like, a lot of where the highest risk is on private lands. A lot of often where like the most money is for this type of forestry work is often on federal lands too. And so it's really great to be able to provide cost share for work on private lands. There is an expectation that private landowners like do have some like skin in the game on it too, and provide match as well.
What's the match? That's the next question then. What is the fiscal note to everybody else if they're going to go through this cost share program?
So with Wildfire Adaptive Partnership for their defensible space work, within the priority area, it's pretty high right now I don't know if it's a 75% or 80% that the grants are able to provide, with the landowner providing 20 or 25%. That's higher than they've ever done in the past. I don't know if it's going to be that way in the future, but we're really trying to like focus defensible space work in like the most at-risk area around like Jackson Gulch and Summit Lake. With the forestry work, we provide 2/3 match to landowners, up to a certain ceiling. We can't go, it depends on like what the bids are, but up to a certain ceiling, we can provide 2/3 match for the work to be completed. And are, happy to try to think of like innovative ways for landowners to be able to come up with that other match, knowing that like not everyone has the cash on hand to be able to provide 1/3 of the cost for work, knowing that like wood isn't worth a lot right now especially, but like often the ponderosa pine or other species that are coming off of lands aren't all that valuable. Often they're smaller diameter. Those are the ones that are like most risky for wildfires. And trying to develop ways that wood can be donated, and using like the cost of donated wood for instance, for firewood as a cost share too. So trying to figure out ways that folks can like have some skin in the game and also get the work done, because it benefits, it benefits not just the landowner, but it benefits their neighbors and the communities in general for forestry work to occur.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it, Danny.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all.
Have a great rest of the day.
You too.
All right, going back down, we're going to go into our county attorney's report again.
I don't have a whole lot to report this week. I did go to a middle school career fair and presented to the middle school 8th grade class, and that was a great experience. I've been doing that for several years now, and a lot of interested kids, a lot of kids who had a lot of questions, and so hopefully with time those kids will someday sit up here maybe and stick in this area and bolster our legal profession here. But just wanted to thank the school for allowing me to do that, and it's a great experience. It's one of my favorite parts of the job, being able to go out and do that. But as far as our civil cases, it was a pretty quiet week. Obviously, we had a lot of transactional stuff, contract stuff, but the civil cases were pretty quiet.
All right, very good. Travis?
This week, done a lot of backtracking, trying to find documents and deeds and titles and so on and so forth. Got to have a lot of conversations with people I haven't talked to in years, though, so that was pretty good. Worked on the PSST stuff, which obviously we're pushing forward with. Just a note, the elevator is down. It's not going to be repaired until May. There's a significant issue, and so it's down. But we'll get it back up and running. Attended CCI, and a couple of the bills that I was really interested in was House Bill 24-1454, which has direct correlation to House Bill 21-1110. It was quasi-concerning, so we're going to move on as if House Bill 21-1110 is gonna have ramifications on us. So we're pushing forward. That's the digital accessibility and social media stuff.
Just to expound on that a little bit more, it does sound at that same meeting is that we are going to get somewhat of a stay of execution, basically, to not be 100% compliant. By July of 2024, we're going to have July of 2025, but
Possibly.
yeah, possibly. You never know, but you know, at the end of the day, the bigger picture is that to be 100% compliant with this thing is kind of going to go back to what Ian said. There's just going to be some things that potentially will be dropped off, which is not really, I mean, in full transparency, you're dropping things off because you can't comply with the statute, which is counterproductive to really what we're supposed to be doing. However, to comply with the new standard, you know, a lot of the smaller counties, and that was echoed up there in that meeting on Thursday, that, I mean, some counties don't even have an IT department. They have to contract everything out. So it's a lot. I guess my point is that to keep making bills just to make bills, it doesn't seem productive at all, because it's actually moving things in the wrong direction, but I'll stop there.
And then the other aspect was obviously the property tax information. That was a good discussion. I'm not sure if anything got accomplished in the 2.5 hours of discussion. However, it sounds like they're going to have a special session. There wasn't even a number allocated to the proposal. But if you look at the property tax aspect, I believe there's 6. Let me go through it real quick. There's 6 potential initiatives on the ballot, or going to be put forward. Initiative 50 is already going to be pushed forward. It's got enough signatures to be on the ballot, and that's the 4% per evaluation cycle.
Right, which is
increase.
2% per year.
2% per year. And I think they're talking about a cap of 6.3 over a reduction over 5 years. So that's still in the mix. We're going to keep evaluating, and
It's very rare to see a committee kind of throw their hands up in the air and
yeah,
put their head down on the desk and weep.
correct.
Basically, none of the recommendations were considered by the committee, and the committee's been working, I think, since 1st of December of
Yeah.
last year to try and put something together that works. But at the end of the day, we're going to end up with something, just don't know what it is, but
I know what's going to happen.
it's coming. You know, the other thing too is as of this morning, we have almost 700 bills that have already been dealt with, 693, I believe. And this session is over on May 8th. And there are 300 and some bills that haven't even
There's no
been dealt with.
yeah.
So it's just wild, the amount of bills that continue to keep going through the legislatures. But, you know, we'll do what we have to do and go from there.
And that's all I have, Commissioner.
Commissioner Lindsay.
Okay, here we go. First, I went to the city council meeting last Tuesday, and in their work session, they had discussions about a turf replacement program. So they were gonna write is that right, Rob? They're gonna write a grant for $80,000? I mean, some people might be interested in this in the city of Cortez.
The city of Cortez they actually have that grant already.
Okay.
And between city funds and the grant funds, the city is doing a $2 per square foot up to 1,000 square foot payments for people to help replace their yards, turf. And there's some stipulations around native planting and what you have to do. Yeah, the city doesn't want just people filling in with rock. The idea is to keep a natural space, but one that uses less water.
Thank you, sir. They did approve Then they went into regular session, and they renewed a marijuana store license and had action on 4 liquor licenses. And they said goodbye to council members David Rainey and Arlena Yazzie. We thanked them for their service and appreciated working with them over the years that they were there. They swore in Robert Dobry and Bill Lewis, Rachel Medina, and April Randall as their new council members. They elected Rachel Medina again as the mayor, and I missed writing down who was pro tem. Lydia DeHaven, okay. And also Historic Day Proclamation, May 3rd through the 4th. Did some financial statements and some resolutions. Bought a thermal cover for a pool, and listened to the transfer of a location of a retail marijuana store, and selected some people to go to CML annual conference. And it was a good meeting. I mean, we welcomed the 2 new members, Bill Lewis and April Randall, to the council, and away we go. Also like to remind everybody of the electric outage tonight, starting at 11:30. Turn off all your essential electronics, because there may be a power surge when that comes back on at about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. So be ready for that. On that note, I did find out over the weekend that my toaster is not waterproof. I was shocked. Bad pun. But other than that, I'll leave you with a thought that was given to me at a meeting the other day is, what would you fear the most? A Texan with a hunting rifle or a Californian with a U-Haul? I'll let you make up your own mind. That's all I've got for today.
All right.
This past week, really, I just was looking at several of the different bills that, like Jim was talking about, mainly the ones on water and the water dredge and fill bills that's up there, and how they're coming forward with all the amendments and stuff to them. And these are going to affect a lot of different people when they go through, as far as their development of their properties and stuff, especially if you're anywhere close to a river or wetland, what they consider. So those are all going to be significant if they move forward in the form they're in right now. They're having tremendous amount of argument over what is an irrigation ditch of all the things in the world that's going on right now. So I mean, it's crazy. I don't anyway, that's about all I got.
All right. So, like Travis said, we spent all day in the CCI Zoom meeting, going over all the bills. We did take a few positions on a few bills, but a lot of them were updates. And then the longest conversation was obviously over the tax for property taxes and how that's going to move forward. Obviously, I don't think they're going to be able to get anything dealt with in this session because it's almost over, so they will be more than likely moving into some kind of a special session later on in the year. Was unable to make the Region 9 board meeting. I didn't know if you had the
Forgot about
opportunity
that.
to
I did
make
the
Region 9 or
I
not.
Zoomed in, and not much significance was there. They did a lot of business, but it was shorter than usual. Next meeting is July, down in the casino in Toyoak.
Very good.
Sorry.
No, that's good. That's good, because I didn't really have anything else to add on that. We did have our meeting yesterday, which we took care of I think we took care of all of the discussions that we had in our workshop yesterday, and that's really all that I have, other than I can't wait till May 8th to get this legislative session over with, and hopefully nothing else can come to hurt us too badly, but that is all I have, gentlemen.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn this April 30th, 2024 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.